Welcome back to Season 5 of the Changing Earth podcast with Sara F. Hathaway, blending survival fiction and fact to bring you entertaining education that will help you dream, survive, and thrive. And now, here's your host, Sara F. Hathaway.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the Changing Earth podcast. This is episode number 182, Season 5, episode 19. So I got a whole lot of announcements for you today, a whole bunch of stuff going on right now, and let's just jump into it. So my rock star of a brother in preparedness arms, Chen, hooked me and Jan up at Carolina Readiness Supply, and I'm just so honored that she is going to feature my books there, and it's just a great pleasure. So if you haven't heard of Carolina Readiness Supply, you are missing out. They have a spectacular website at carolinareadiness.com. And just a ton of stuff there. And then they also have a physical location there in Carolina. Go to their website and check them out. It's carolinareadiness.com. One of the things that I really want to feature about Carolina Readiness Supply today is that they have the Heritage Life Skills. This is the 8th time they put it on, and it's coming up in April. That's April 12th through 14th. So if you're in the area, man, you need to get over there and check this out. During the event, they're going to be hosting classes to teach you all kinds of preparedness information. They got canning meat, vegetables, butter, and jam, knot tying, practical everyday carry, winemaking 101. I mean, that's going to be cool. Colloidal silver, raising rabbits, no stew, sewing, hammocks, knots that you should know, cold smoke meat preservation, convoy planning for SHTF days, hardening your house, Islam, what you need to know, kidnap prevention and escape, how cool is that? Off-grid energy systems, survival groups, tiny house road safing, vermiculture, and if you have 5 minutes, are you ready to evacuate? That's something I always preach on my show. You got less than 5 minutes. You need to have your stuff ready to go. Bread making, cheese making, soap making, and more. I mean, man, if I was in the area, I would so be there. You guys got to check this out. And what would be cool, like maybe record some for some online viewing, because that would just be great. I mean, I'd definitely want to get hooked up with that. So that's happening April 12th through the 14th, and Carolina Readiness Supply is putting that on. You can go ahead and check it out at carolinareadiness.com. And you should really do that. That's just looks like it's going to be a ton of fun. And hopefully once I get moved over to Texas, then I'll be able to go and check that out each year and maybe do some teaching myself. That would just be great. Some self-defense stuff, or, we can figure it out. But that would be a spectacular event to be at. So if you're in the area, you got to get over there. Okay, next announcement that I have is I was actually featured over at newswire.net for one of my articles that I did on meat curing. It's one, I believe I presented it on the podcast. It was from Little House in the Big Woods. It really got me thinking about just ways that they used to do meat preservation, how that used to happen, because we have a lot of meat in the freezer, and if it went grid down and all my meat's sitting in the freezer, I know a lot of friends too that have a lot more meat in the freezer. So this is something we really need to think about. We need to have a backup plan for it so that all that food doesn't go to waste. That would be an absolute sin. So it was really cool. Great honor to be featured over there at newswire.net, and thanks so much for doing that for me, guys. Okay, next announcement that I have today is the Changing Earth merchandise is coming soon. It's something I really wanted to do because I have t-shirts that say, "How will you survive?" and my book back on the back, or my book front on the back. And I have a lot of people ask me, like, do you sell the t-shirts? Stuff like that. And then you guys all know that I love my hats. So, of course, I'm going to be having some hats. They're all embroidered. And it's really cool. How will you survive with the Changing Earth logo on it? So check that out. They are on their way. They're not here yet. I'm going to have them up on my website. And I could even start taking pre-orders. The amount of merchandise that I ordered is going to be limited. for now, and then we can see how that works out. But so you got to get over there, check it out, head on over to my website, author sarafhathaway.com. Go to the store and you can pick out your shirt or your hat, and really cool stuff over there. So that's coming along. I also am going to be providing a 10% off discount to my Patreon members. So if you're a Patreon member, look for the posting that will have that coupon code in it. And I just want to thank you, for being my Patreon member, for being loyal. You guys, I love you so much, and I appreciate your support for the show so much. If you would like to become a Patreon member, head on over to my website, author sarafhathaway.com. You can get signed up there, or you can head directly over to Patreon, www.patreon.com/Changing Earth. So really cool events going on with merchandise. I love it. You know me, I'm the hat girl. So I love wearing hats, and got some pretty cool ones coming in. I'm excited about it. All right, my next book is going to be entitled The Endless Night, and it is at the editor right now, getting all cleaned up, and then I have to work on the audio for it and things like that, but you can look forward to that coming really soon. The cover is spectacular. I'm so proud of it. It's probably the best cover that I've designed yet for my book, so I'm really, really excited about that. And then, I've been down with my foot for a while, which is doing a little bit better. I'm getting moving again, which is awesome. So I've had lots of time to work, and book 7 is like 3/4 of the way done. It still needs a lot of love, but just to give you a heads up, there will be a book 7. Alrighty, so last week on Dark Days in Denver, Daniel's secret training place was revealed. So they figured out where Daniel was spending his time, and Master Rowan was revealed to Bennett. So this week, in preparation for Denver, the team is training with Bennett. And Bennett deploys this training style that kind of confuses everyone. And the point is to get the team to answer up. And this is a really, really important thing to do in training, is to get used to listening to and answering up to your commander or your fellow teammate. So here today to discuss the importance of answering up is Ellen Kerr, and she's a leading seaman in the Australian Royal Navy. So definitely an honor to have her on my show, and especially talking about this topic. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into Chapter 19 of Dark Days in Denver.
Chapter 19. It was still dark when Dexter gently woke Erica up in the morning. "I'm leaving, Mom," he told her softly. "What time is it?" Erica asked as she roused. "It's before 0500, he answered. "I just wanted to tell you how much I love you before I go." Erica was taken back by the look in his eyes. "You'll be back in a couple of days, right? Before we go to Denver?" she asked curiously. "That's the plan," he replied. He went to say something else, then hesitated. "I love you. I gotta go." "Okay, buddy. I love you too," she told him, hugging him tightly. She watched him go and hug his father, who roused from his slumber as well. Dexter told him that he loved him, and Vince groggily replied. Then Dex went and hugged Daniel and Star tightly as they slept. He called Trucker to him, and they scurried out of the tent flap. "He's off on his scouting mission?" Vince asked as he rolled over and watched Erica staring at the canvas doorway. "Yup," Erica replied, concerned. "Don't worry. He's been on dozens of these before," Vince told her. "There was a look in his eyes, Vince," Erica told him. "Dexter has a good head on his shoulders. He's with Johnny. They'll be okay," Vince assured her. "Maybe I am just being paranoid," she replied, turning around and snuggling into Vince's body. Vince went back to sleep, but Erica couldn't. She lay there quietly contemplating the upcoming missions. She pretended she was asleep when Star rose to head out for her morning kitchen duties. Erica wanted to let everyone sleep as long as they could. She knew the days coming up would be long. It would be less than a week before they were leaving for a battle she might not walk away from. Or he might not walk away from, she thought, snuggling tighter into Vince's warmth. The ground rumbled softly. Erica realized it had been a while since the last time she felt a quake. Sneaking out from Vince's side, she slipped on her uniform and exited the tent. The morning air was hazy and a strange green tint glowed ominously in the clouds. "Good morning," Nancy said, exiting her tent. "Morning, Mama," Erica replied. "Sleep well?" "Not really," Nancy replied. "Still can't decide what to do?" Erica wondered. "I think I may go north with the caravan. You guys are going that way after Denver. I could go south to be with Brett, but who knows when we would see each other again." Nancy shared her concerns. "I know, Mom," Erica replied. She was as unsure as Nancy. There was no guarantee they would survive to meet her up north. "Dexter came in and gave me a hug this morning," Nancy informed Erica. "He doesn't usually do that." "I thought he was acting weird too," Erica relayed her concerns. "Vince said I was probably just being a worrywart." "Only time will tell," Nancy replied. "I gotta go wake Vince and Daniel up," Erica worried, trying to judge the sun's position in the sky. "Erica, hold on a second," Nancy told her. Erica turned back around to look at her mother. "I know Earl and Kay don't agree with the choice you guys are making. And I'm not sure that I do either," Nancy said. Erica huffed deeply, not wanting to have this conversation. She became agitated. "Now hear me out," Nancy continued. "I'm your mother. I'd rather see you safe and secure. But I am so deeply proud of you." Erica stopped her moping and looked back up at her. "I know you could die any time you head out, and it scares the hell out of me. But I'm so honored to have you as my daughter. Life has been so difficult for you, one trial after another. But you've never given up. Your dad would be so proud of the fighter we raised." Nancy hugged her tightly. "But when you're out there, you keep your head up and make sure you come home," she said sternly. "I will, Mom," Erica replied cheerfully. "There you are," Vince said, popping his head out. "How come you didn't come and wake me?" "I was just headed in to do that," Erica told him. "Thanks, Mom," she told Nancy before heading into the tent. As they entered, another quake shook the ground. Vince and Erica braced themselves as the tent shook. The lantern hanging in the air fell to the ground with a crash. Daniel bolted up at the sound. "What was that?" he wondered. "The lantern fell," Erica told him, scrambling to collect the glass. Vince brought some spare rags to sop up the fuel that hit the ground. "That was a big one," Vince commented. "Aftershock," Erica noted, feeling another ripple coming. They steadied themselves through the shaking. Daniel jumped out of bed as soon as it stopped and dressed quickly. They exited into the strange morning air. Headed towards the gate, Victoria was waiting for them. "That's the third quake this morning," Victoria commented, after they had greeted one another. "It's a hard feeling to get used to," Erica replied, as they walked to the field. "I'm not sure we should," Vince noted. "Fair enough," Erica agreed. "Good morning, Vince," Bennett greeted him as they approached. Erica and Victoria were bringing up the rear and fell into line as the two men talked for a moment. They started the morning workout just the same as any other day. But Bennett seemed to be ragging on Erica all day. He was talking quieter than normal and wanted a "yes, sir" reply to every direction that he gave. Endless possibilities about the future coursed through Erica's brain. She wanted to zone out and work mindlessly through the exercises. By the time they were done, Erica was thoroughly agitated. They went to grab lunch together as a family. Their food was served in a private tent in the same housing complex as their temporary home was located. "This sucks, Mom. I like being able to watch the people," Daniel stated as they found a table. "I know, Daniel, but what are we going to do?" Erica asked. "At least you still get to train with Master Rowan," Erica told him. Her eyes shifted from Daniel to First Sergeant Bennett walking in the door. "He sure was on us today, wasn't he?" Vince asked. "I thought it was just me," Erica replied. "No, he was talking so darn quiet all morning and then wanted a reply immediately. It was tripping me out," Vince agreed. "I thought the same thing," Victoria chimed in. "What are you loafers all worried about?" Bennett asked as he approached. His exceptional hearing allowed him to catch bits and pieces of their conversation as he went through the line. "What was up with you today?" Erica wondered. "Did someone turn down your volume?" Bennett chuckled at her. "You want to know why? How come I'm not surprised that Erica Moore can't just do as she's trained? She needs to know why," he teased. Victoria chuckled at his joke. "I wouldn't get away with half of the smart remarks that she assaults him with daily," she thought. Everyone else is curious too, Erica defended. They just won't say it. The reason I want you to answer up to every direction is so that when you are in the heat of the moment, bullets are flying past your head, and the only noise that wants to fill your ears is that of gunfire, you can hear my voice. You can discern it from anything and respond accordingly. I need your total focus on my direction so we all stay alive. This isn't going to be a roll in and smash the gate operation like the last battle you went into with Cassidy. In Denver, we'll be the insurgency, and those battles can be long and dangerous. I need to know that when we're out there, you'll hear me in that head of yours, Cupcake, Bennett explained, digging into his plate of food. Erica sat and thought on what he had said for a moment, and it made sense. She always wanted to be so headstrong and find her own path, but she respected Bennett's mentorship and was eager to take his direction when it made sense. This is definitely one time I should listen to him, she thought to herself. You know what, First Sergeant? Erica asked. He looked up at her with curious eyes as he chewed. You're actually right. I'm so glad you explained that to me, she teased. Bennett looked crossly at her, shaking his head. What are we training after lunch? Erica wondered. I'm going to slip out for some time with Michelle, Bennett told her. But we'll be putting in extra hours tomorrow to tie up some loose ends in your surveillance pattern. I don't have any problems with my surveillance techniques, Erica insisted. Really? How was I able to follow you to the homesteads and then ambush you on the way home? He asked with a smirk. Speaking of the homesteads, Erica noted, don't even try your hole in the fence. They found it when they were securing this area, he told her. What are we supposed to do? Erica wondered. Enjoy each other's company, Bennett told her as he left.
All right, so Bennett has him confined to the base. But in the meantime, the team learned this really valuable lesson about answering up. And it's something that I had to have kind of hammered into my head. And of course, I didn't understand why it was so important. So I had to go asking questions on, what's the big deal, right? So here to discuss why this is so important is Ellen Kerr. And she's a leading seaman in the Australian Royal Navy. She was born in 1980 in Australia. Ellen Louise Kerr has been married for 16 years to her wonderful spouse, Brian. They have 2 daughters, Miriam and Emma, plus 2 spoiled cats, 2 ducks, 1 budgie, and 2 lizards. Ellen joined the Australian Royal Navy in 2003 and served for 14 years. She has earned the rank of leading seaman and is an electronic warfare director at sea. When she's on the shore, she works in the field of electronic intelligence. Ellen was deployed to the Persian Gulf in 2005 as part of the Allied Attack Force on board HMAS Darwin, for which she is now recognized as a veteran. She is also deployed to and took part in numerous exercises in New Zealand, Hawaii, and Southeast Asia. In her spare time, she practices Hapkido and works on staying prepared for whatever may come our way. Ellen enjoys camping, fishing, shooting, and four-wheeling. She loves sci-fi and end-of-the-world genre material. Her favorite TV show is Firefly. She loves her ducks and motorbikes. So let's go ahead and welcome Ellen to the show.
Today I am back with Ellen Kerr. Love having my Australian connection back on my episode. And you're always welcome on the show, Ellen. Thanks so much for being here.
No problem. And I'm trying to think of another Australian colloquialism, but fair dinkum, honoured.
All right, I love it. Love it. Yeah, I think we are absolutely fated to be friends without a doubt because there's just so many, we really jive together. I love it. So I can't wait to see you when you come out to visit. It's going to be a blast.
Yes, it will be.
On today's episode, Bennett's given the team a real hard time during training because he wants them to answer up. And, a lot of people, I don't see this discussed very much in survival groups and things like that. Everybody thinks they're just going to put together some kind of crew that's going to be able to defend their house or their yard or their area or whatever. And nobody really talks about, nitty gritty specifics of what that entails. And this is a really important piece of that puzzle.
So why is it so important that you have your team answering up to their commander all the time?
I'll put it in a Navy perspective. So we go operate on the sea and in dangerous areas, in a high stressful environment with lots of noise in the ops room, lots of bells and whistles and stuff going on. So my job is to do electronic warfare and anti-ship missile defense.
Okay.
So I launch decoys and I speak with my principal warfare officer while things are happening. So I will do missile countdowns. So it's like 60 seconds on top, 30 seconds on top. And during that timeline that the missile is coming in, I've got to do specific things. And the PO has to have enough time to veto those decisions. So we have to be able to hear and listen to each other. And then the PO has to have the ability to listen to me.
So you have to hear that voice above all these other noises all the time.
Yes, and he has to listen to me, or she.
Okay.
Because if we get this wrong, the ship is dead.
Yeah. That's an important reason to know how to communicate to one another and to hear each other's voice. So how is the mind? How are you able to block out these noises and listen to just that voice?
So lots and lots and lots of training. So before we even go out on a ship, we would go into the simulators ashore.
Okay.
And that would show that it put all those scenarios on us. So, the first week or so is very clunky. We would have theoretically died and all that stuff. It's just working out the communication and timelines and stuff like that. And the rest of the ops room doing their job as well. So that's even before we get out there.
Right.
And then before we even get to go to an operational area, we have to do what they call workups, which is about 6 weeks long a process. And we get assessed on everything. And that's me getting assessed in the ops room as well as the whole ship as a whole, doing damage control and being able to survive in that environment.
Okay.
So how I would do this in a survival situation is that if you've got your team, your prep team, survivalism team now, I would train in those situations.
Right now.
So even if it's firing blanks,
mm-hmm.
to get used to that battle sound. And even while you're doing airsoft,
yep,
delegate 1 leader per week to order formations and attacking patterns and stuff like that.
Yeah, we absolutely do. Yep.
Yeah. And that'll develop those skills in your head.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so that's the brain training end of things. And as I was telling you beforehand, I'm going to tell my story. My instructor, he really hit this point with me really hard, and I was like, well, I don't understand. I don't understand why it's such a big deal. Like, oh, you're the man, I got to answer to you every time. And no, he's like, if you're in the ring and I'm coaching you, you have to be able to hear me above everything else, the whole crowd, and I could be able to whisper, and you need to hear it so you can respond to the direction. And it's really challenging for me because I'm kind of a tune-out person, like playing ice hockey and stuff. You just know where you have to be, and so you don't have to listen to an outside direction. And being pretty independent it's a challenge for me to listen to that direction when I'm in the moment anyway, and like go, oh, okay, I need to actually listen to them and change my strategy to what they're saying. I don't want to. I'm like, yeah, you don't really know what you're talking about. I'm gonna do it my way, you know? And it's not good.
Yeah.
You can't have minds doing that.
No, my martial arts instructor will yell at me across the dojo. You're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you doing? Get your head in the game. Yeah. So just super important for your team to be able to hear that. So we could do, I asked James Yeager, because I was like, you know, it was very challenging to have a blanks or, you know, to be able to fire a weapon and put that adrenal stress into your body. So to duplicate that type of environment where you would need to be listening that sharply, even when your stress levels are like maxed out, you know?
Yeah. So what we have at sea is that after that 6-week period is that we're tired, very little sleep, and we've got aircraft coming in. So it creates that. And so we've had 6 weeks working up to that period.
Mm-hmm.
And the final assessment, they throw everything at us.
Yeah. So you're just like,
we get assessed off that.
Awesome. Yeah, you're just that will just rocket the adrenal stress levels for sure.
Yeah.
So James Yeager was like, okay, you want to increase your adrenal stress while you're on the shooting range, so put on your cell phone, camera yourself, and do a live feed with it. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's like stepping on
that is work.
Right? So then can you listen to the direction? Well, your mind's already thinking about, oh my gosh, like I'm like being broadcast to the world and everything. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
Find an ex-drill instructor.
Oh, yeah.
To yell at you while you're doing medial things.
Yep. Well, I've kind of found that at my martial arts school, so he's good at that. All I got to do is poke the bear enough, and he'll be yelling at me all night.
Even if you're making dinner.
Yeah.
How much are you using? Why are you using that?
Oh, fair enough.
Are you using?
That's a great point. We could do that with each other in the family. My son will be ready to kill me. Because I do that when I'm teaching. I do that to my students, you know. One of the kids, his mom told me, you know, oh, he calls you at home, he calls you Mrs. Mean Lady. I'm like, that's fine. I don't have a voice left after teaching everything, you know. I'm like, they're listening, you know. It's time to shape up. So.
Yeah, kids are hard to teach anyway.
Yeah, but you know, if you can really just establish that tone at the beginning, then you get them listening to your voice the whole time. Because they know if they don't listen to your voice and your command, then they're gonna be doing push-ups and not having a happy time. So.
Yeah, Tom, my instructor lets them do the 9 laps of doom.
Oh,
So it's spider crawling, leopard crawling, bump scooching, gorilla, all that low sort of
nightmare.
I like to be a little bit smart with my instructor. So if he's demonstrating something, I'll bite a little bit, and then he just brings them the pain.
Right? Yeah, that's what I do. I'm like, okay. So I'm always like, 1 lap or 2, 1 lap or 2, sir, 1 lap or 2, 1 lap or 2. He's like, dude, if you were listening, then I get in trouble because I'm not answering up. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. So, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, chief.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
It's really indoctrinated into me as a military person. Even people along in the street, I'll say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, me too. Now from martial arts, because you just get it drilled into your head so much. I mean, that you live in, you know, as much as I'm down there, it's all the time. And even when I'm talking, entertaining other people or teaching other people or whatever, I have to be able to hear his voice still. So I find myself almost trying, because like sometimes the fans are running and stuff, and it's really hard to hear them. So I find myself like even trying to keep like one eye or like keep him in my background vision So if he was to be calling for me, then I could still see him and be like, okay, I'm there, right?
But when when they got the back turned, they'll still pick something up.
Yeah, he probably would, just to mess with me. Dude, I've been calling you. I'm like, I don't know. You got like 8 fans running in here. I'm like, oh, that's no excuse. No excuse. Yeah. And it's a shame, but I think we should institute it back into society, just that politeness aspect. But then they say, well, what if somebody doesn't identify as that gender? I'm like, oh no.
Oh, don't start.
Really?
Don't start.
I know.
Don't start.
So, oh God, I can't remember where we were. One of the stores, and it was like, don't use sir or ma'am, use human person. I'm like,
no.
What? No, I'm good. You're getting a sir or ma'am.
And this is I don't mind people saying that, being whatever they want to be. They could be a purple unicorn for all.
Right.
But if a person gets it wrong, they should have the ability to say, hey, can you call me this from now on, and not get annoyed the first
or
time.
offended, right? Yep. Yeah.
And because it's what we've been brought up with, and
yeah,
and it's going to take society a long time to change, if it ever changes.
And so to me, it's politeness factor. So if you can institute your answering up to in your life, then you start to project that in all of your life. You take that from your training to your whole life,
right.
and you become a better, more respectful person.
That's right.
Yep.
And that is what is really lacking with the youth of today.
Yep.
Is that respect for our elders.
Yeah, and that's why I absolutely have all of my students answer up all the time, just because, that's what it's right to do. So.
That's right.
Alrighty, so you think we missed anything on this one? We got pretty much covered all the. Use it in training. It's important.
Block out the noises. That was on your list.
Yeah.
Is it going back to that, just having someone in your face and be able to, listening to a podcast or something, and then have someone else distract you and being able to remember what was in the podcast?
Mm-hmm.
That sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
2 different things going on. So at sea, my headset, I've got one ear is external comms, and the other one is my P-Way comms.
Wow.
So I've got to be attuned for both ears.
Yeah, you're multitasking.
Yeah.
Wow. I was going to say, isn't that what we do as moms all the time? We're trying to, watch our show while, the kids, rah, 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 at you.
Yes.
Right?
That's what, yes. We are champions of this.
Right? Yeah. No wonder you got that job.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's right.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for coming on today, Ellen. I really appreciate your time taking I know it's early for you there, so.
No, it's 11:15 in the
Okay. Yeah, we did better this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always feel bad when I'm like, let's do 11 o'clock my time. It's 5 in the morning in Australia the next day. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. We're gonna kick it a little bit later, right?
It's okay for me because I'm an early bird.
See, there's where we're
I'm up at
different.
5 anyway.
You can take the morning shift. I'll take the night shift. Done.
Done.
All right.
Thanks, Ellen, so much for coming on the show again this season. It's just my absolute honor to host you and to have got to know you as a friend. I can't wait to see you when you come out for the visit. We'll just have to do lots of pictures and post them all over Facebook so everybody can enjoy our visit with us. I also want to take a minute to thank my Patreon members. Again, your guys' support is just, it's really inspiring to keep going and keep doing what I'm doing and keep providing this awesome information. If you would like to become a Patreon subscriber, head on over to www.patreon.com/changingearth or my website at author.sarahfhathaway.com. Thank you guys for listening this week. It was a great show, ton of fun. This book is just going to kind of explode from here, so we got lots of great material to look forward to. And like I say, I just really shot back into the action, and the end of this book is just going to get rocking, so I can't wait to share it with you. So until next time, remember, dream, survive, thrive.
Thank you for joining Sara for this episode of the Changing Earth podcast. Don't forget to pick up your copy of Day After Disaster, Without Land, The Walls of Freedom, Battle for the South, and Dark Days in Denver at www.author.sarahfhathaway.com. If you love Sara's books and this podcast, please head over to Amazon or iTunes and let everyone know by leaving a review.